shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
New this morning, Aaron is back up to a Category 4 storm. It is still likely to head north. I'll show you what the impacts are likely to be along our coast.
Part of a major road in Raleigh is closed this morning as we're giving you a live look at Tryon Road. That's where a sewer main break has traffic blocked off. How long it may take for crews to get it fixed. And transportation update. Construction on Raleigh's bus rapid transit plan. It's expected to start soon. The questions people who live nearby can get answered tonight. Thanks so much for joining us this morning on WRAL News. I am Chris Lovingood. Our big weather story tracking Aaron. We've seen Elizabeth, it seems that things have intensified. It kind of went down a little bit and then intensified again over the weekend.
It did. Boy, the 2 o'clock advisory back up to Category 4 with a really well-defined eye there. And of course, that signifies a very powerful storm. So nothing has much changed with the track, but right now it has winds at 130 miles per hour, moving northwest at 12, and it'll eventually make that northerly turn. It is likely to brush by the islands of the Caribbean, but not necessarily make landfall. But still, you can see the rain bands definitely affecting a lot of those Caribbean islands right now. So we'll talk more about that in just a few minutes. Following the path, it makes that northerly turn pretty quickly here. It is likely to be Category 2 off the coast of North Carolina. That's going to be mainly overnight on Wednesday, and then it makes that sharp turn to the right and away from the U.S. So not expecting a landfall in the U.S., but there will be some impacts along our coast, and we'll go over those coming up. Walking in this morning, it was mostly clear, just a few patchy clouds hanging out, but it is definitely warm and sticky. 76 at RDU, 73 is our dew point, so that makes it feel rather muggy out there. We take a look at our chances for rain today. It's a small chance, about a 30% chance later on this afternoon and evening, and our hour-by-hour temperatures are hot. We're going to climb to 92. It is likely to feel more like around 100 with the heat index, but I'll show you that heat index hour by hour coming up.
Deeper into that in a little bit. Thank you, Elizabeth. Breaking news. Part of Tryon Road is closed this morning because of a sewer main break. That's where we find Ali Kavdabar and the WRAL Breaking News tracker at that scene. Ali, teams aren't expected to be back on the scene for another couple hours, though.
Yes, Chris, not until 6:30. That's what crews here told us. You can see them kind of waiting for them right now. They tell us that they're waiting for engineers to come and assess this sewer main break. This is video from the WRAL Breaking News tracker. You can see there's a large hole in the road. Equipment is blocked off. The city of Raleigh says that this is not impacting sewage and water for the surrounding areas. We do know from the city of Raleigh that they are directing traffic onto Avant Ferry Road, and we're going to have live updates from our traffic center in the next 30 minutes on those best detour routes. Reporting in Raleigh, Ali Kavdabar, WRAL News.
The utility company Enbridge in Raleigh wants to raise gas rates, and today you can make your voice heard about your thoughts on that. The company wants to increase rates by 12.3%, and to do this, the company needs approval from the NC Utilities Commission. Now, they're holding a public hearing today to talk about this, and if the rate hike is approved, it would take effect in November. Today's hearing is at the Utilities Commission building on Salisbury Street in Raleigh, and that is at 7 p.m. Today, people who live along New Bern Avenue in Raleigh will get an update on plans to expand bus service and the construction that will come along with it. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live from New Bern Avenue. And Kelsey, work on phase 1 of the bus rapid transit, it plans to start soon.
Yes, Chris, today folks can find out how this construction could impact their commute. So crews are expected to break ground here on New Bern Avenue within the next month. So this here would all be the area that's a part of phase 1. The New Bern Avenue line would connect downtown Raleigh with Wake Med and New Hope Road. So you're looking at video of what this bus rapid transit system would look like. The New Bern Avenue BRT line will have 10 stations and 3.3 miles of bus-only lanes. Phase 1 would take about 2 years to complete. Tonight, people can hear from the construction team and find out how this could impact their day-to-day.
One thing that we do want to let the public know is that businesses will remain open. There will be access to all businesses during this process, as well as to all residents during the process. So nothing will have to close during construction.
But that construction process is going to take a really long time. The BRT is not expected to be complete until 2030. But folks can meet with the construction team tonight from 6 to 8 at Martin Street Baptist Church. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News. I'm in Raleigh.
A person was killed and 2 others were injured in a shooting in Fayetteville last night, and that happened just after 7:30 p.m. on Chinook Drive between Rayford Road and I-295. Now, we want to show you video from the scene, and this right here is when officers arrived and they found 3 people with gunshot wounds. One of them was later taken to the hospital, and the other 2 are expected to recover. Fayetteville police asked that if you know anything, please come forward. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and President Donald Trump will meet at the White House today, and other world leaders will join the two. They're meeting to discuss Russia's war on Ukraine and a possible peace deal. President Trump just met with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska, and Trump said that he and Putin decided to work together toward a peace agreement and not just a ceasefire. He's expected to outline some of Putin's demands in today's meeting, including Ukraine giving up Crimea. Russia illegally annexed that peninsula in 2014. And Putin also wants Ukraine to agree to never join NATO. A brush fire in Hillsborough started from power lines. A witness sent this video to WRAL. Do you see it right here, the flame from that spark? Well, the fire happened around 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon near the Boone Square Shopping Center, and that's on South Churton Street. The witness says that she heard a pop and then saw electrical equipment kind of throwing off sparks there. Now, those sparks turned into a raging fire. Flames reportedly shot 20 feet into the air at one point, and the fire burned for nearly an hour and scorched a lot of the hillside. But firefighters eventually brought those flames under control, and the fire knocked out power to several thousand homes and businesses for about 6 hours. We have reached out to Duke Energy to confirm the initial issue with that utility line there. Police in Durham say that a man is dead after a shooting, and that happened around 4 o'clock yesterday morning on South Hoover Road. That's near Andrew Avenue. Police have not released the victim's name, though, but we have calls out to learn more from police about this investigation, including if there are any suspects. Raleigh police say that a group of young people robbed someone on the street, and that happened just before 4:30 yesterday morning on Hawkins Street near New Bern Avenue. Police say a group of 4 to 5 teenagers were able to get away from that scene, and the victim of the robbery was seriously injured. And several people are hurt because of crashes around the triangle. Now, the first one happened at Edwards Mill Road and Trinity Road yesterday. Raleigh police tell us the people who were hurt are expected to recover, but police have not said what may have led up to this crash. As for this one, police say 2 cars crashed and, well, it injured 4 people in the process. And this was on Capitol Boulevard and Wake Forest near Jenkins Road. Everyone who was hurt went to the hospital, but there's no update on their condition. And then you have this crash in Durham where someone died. The WRAL breaking news tracker was there for the aftermath. We have learned that a motorcycle crashed into a fire truck. That was around 10:30 yesterday morning on NC 54. And we are working to learn the name of the person who died. A new semester begins at Wake Tech Community College today, and with it comes a huge surge in enrollment, according to the school. The college is welcoming nearly 28,500 students, and that's nearly 3,000 more students than this time last year. It is the highest enrollment in the college's history. More than 9,300 of those students are new to Wake Tech, which is also a record. And then next month, the school breaks ground on a major expansion of the Health Sciences campus next month. Happening today, a couple of school districts kick off the new year. Today is the first day of classes for Person and Sampson County schools. And a week from today, students will be back in class in Wake County. Today, kids are going to get ready for their first day, and the Wash House in Raleigh is hosting a backpack giveaway. Now, that's happening from 5 to 7:30 today on Davis Circle in Raleigh, and there will also be activities for your kids to enjoy and pizza too, not bad. The Fayetteville location of the Wash House will host its event Wednesday, and that is at 5 p.m. Just a reminder, folks, WRAL has you covered for the start of the new school year. You can find out where to find the cheapest supplies, how to prepare your child for the first day, and so much more on WRAL.com. Just search the words back to school. The city of Raleigh is offering new dockless bikes starting today, and this is part of a pilot program meant to make riding more flexible and more convenient. The goal is to also keep sidewalks and streets safe and accessible. City leaders added new spots for people to leave bikes around the city, and the program will run until next April. Your time is 4:39. New beginnings. A Black-owned Raleigh bookstore's journey to reopening. A look into the work being done to launch a new Liberation Station. On strike, flight attendants with Air Canada refused to return to work this weekend. How airline leaders are working to recover from the amount of flight cancellations. Now let's get you a live look from Chapel Hill. It's obviously very quiet. Of course, it's almost 4:40 this morning. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is going to walk us through today's heat, plus tracking Hurricane Aaron.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
It is 4:43. It's nice and quiet out there this morning, but a typical August feeling start to the day. 73 in Wilson, 76 in Durham, and 75 in Fayetteville. We're mostly clear out there this morning, so, it's warm, it's muggy, but other than that, it's comfortable and just a typical afternoon for us, too. 30% chance of rain today, Tuesday and Wednesday, just a 20% chance. It looks like for us, as Irwin moves offshore of North Carolina, that we see pretty quiet weather, and we're going to delve into that in a little more detail coming up. Heading out the door this morning for your morning exercise, if you're headed out for a run, it's warm and sticky, but other than that, nice and quiet. It's going to be a hot afternoon with a high of 92. It's likely to feel more like upper 90s with the heat index. We'll take a closer look at that hour by hour coming up.
Liberation Station is the state's first black-owned children's bookstore that closed in downtown Raleigh last year. As WRAL's Eric Miller explains, the community stepped in after the owner said that threats were made to her family.
It's Sunday afternoon, and Liberation Station owner Victoria Scott Miller is trying to read into the future.
Today was our first community interest meeting, having an opportunity to engage our community, to show them our vision.
That vision has been a long time coming. Liberation Station first opened in downtown Raleigh in 2023, North Carolina's first black-owned children's bookstore. It garnered national attention, but not always from the right people. Scott Miller says within months, she was bombarded with threats, some of which gave disturbingly specific details about her family. She closed shop in 2024 before planning a revival earlier this year, a new shop in a new space in Southeast Raleigh, helped along by hundreds of donations.
We've reached $30,000 in 30 days, and so we only have $30,000 left to go.
But this Liberation Station will be different. The point of Sunday's meeting was to gauge what the Southeast Raleigh community actually wants from this new space.
What programmings would they enjoy? What type of curation of books would they like?
What she's doing is amazing.
Gary Freeman is a Raleigh native and father of 2 daughters. He hopes to bring book readings with other dads to the store.
Being able to see that happen on a regular, to build community, specifically with Black fathers in the area, that's something that I'm really excited about in this.
But making that a reality will still take time. Scott Miller says she's aiming for a June 2026 reopening, providing funding goals are met, turning a new page, and letting her dreams sing out once again.
It's an encouraging turnaround, especially during such a volatile time, that people can see the vision and importance in investing in children of color's education.
That was Eric Miller reporting. Victoria Scott Miller says that she plans to hold another community meeting early next year. The U.S. Postal Service is honoring President Jimmy Carter with a new stamp. The Forever stamp releases October 1st, and that would have been Carter's 101st birthday. The stamp features an image of him from a 1982 Herbert Abrams painting. Carter died last December, and he was known as a prominent activist for peace, human rights, and socioeconomic progress around the world. As 10,000 flight attendants are on strike, Air Canada plans to resume flights tonight. The strike began Saturday, and they're demanding higher wages and to be paid when planes are grounded. Air Canada says it offered a 38% increase in pay over 4 years, and it also says the company offered an hourly raise of between 12 and 16% in the first year of the contract. The president of the Canadian Union of Public Employees says this process has not been equal.
The whole process has been unfair. Air Canada has really refused to bargain with us, and they refused to bargain with us because they knew this government would come in on their white horse and try and save the day. Well, these workers here said, no, that's not on. We're going to stay on strike.
Air Canada says it may take a week or longer to get all of the flights back on schedule. A judge in Georgia was reading a defendant's verdict in a murder case last Friday, and things got, a little awkward. The man on trial was Alton Oliver, and he was accused of shooting and killing Fulton County Deputy James Thomas in December 2022. The judge read the verdict, but then needed to correct himself. Listen.
The verdict, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty as to all 6 counts of the bill of indictment. Sheriff, will you please hand this to State's counsel and pass it over to...
What?
Didn't I say not?
No.
Sorry. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty on all 6 counts.
He did not say not. The judge there eventually apologized for misspeaking. All right, swinging over to weather with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Elizabeth, you've been tracking Aaron, and you've said before that it's not expected to make landfall right now, but it's our our coastal counties, they are the ones that could see some impact of this.
Absolutely, especially the Outer Banks. They stick out there, right out into the ocean. And so they typically bear the brunt of the tropical storms that we see, or tropical systems, I should say. For us around here, our storm chances this afternoon will be just scattered and light, just a 30% chance. We're likely to see some cooler temperatures by the middle of the week as Hurricane Erin moves off the coast. We'll start to see some impacts there potentially later today and then all the way through Thursday. First of all, in the southern beaches with just the potential for some rip current danger and the possibility of some erosion. But along the Outer Banks, they've already started some evacuations. Even though the storm isn't going to make landfall, it is huge. And as it moves up across and past our Outer Banks, there certainly could be some issues there. So let's talk about brand new 5 a.m. advisory. Winds are the same at 2 a.m. and went back to a Category 4, still at Category 4 at 130 miles per hour. Moving northwest at 13, it's now 915 miles southeast of Cape Hatteras. And of course, here's a look at the forecast path. It has not changed either. It's still likely to be Category 2 sitting off of our coast. Bermuda is here. Bermuda will have some impact. And of course, we'll have some impact as well. What this shows is where the center of circulation is going to be. This is not the outer edge of the storm itself. So we will have most likely some overwash along Highway 12, some damage to the coast there along the Outer Banks. And again, at least Cape Hatteras and Ocracoke have already started evacuations. We're going to talk in more detail about some of the advisories that are up for our coast in just a couple of minutes. For us, impacts are not likely. It may be a little bit breezy for us on Wednesday night, but we're not even looking at any rain middle of the week. Our southern beaches, dangerous surf, rip current, dangerous, some minor flooding there later on today and tomorrow. And then the Outer Banks, overwash on Highway 12, flooding there, dangerous rip currents, and definitely some beach erosion likely to have, the usual issues there. We have a weak cold front that'll drop in on us, helping to start to drop our temperatures. Not so much today. Still going to be pretty warm today. A couple of clouds out there to start with this morning, and just a very small chance of thunderstorms this afternoon. There's 5 o'clock, there's 7 o'clock, and again, mainly in our eastern counties, just a small chance of a thunderstorm. Let's talk about temperatures. It's going to be a hot one today at 92. It's going to feel more like upper 90s, and then we drop back down into the 80s. As a matter of fact, late in the weekend into the weekend, we're back down into the low 80s, which is well below normal. We'll talk a little bit more about what's happening to bring the cool weather coming up.
Low 80s. All right, that's a win for me. Thanks, Elizabeth. Familiar faces. 2 original actors returning to your screen, who you'll see back in the next Scary Movie film. And fixture in history. A 4-time WNBA champion has a new statue in her honor. The legacy of the player that left on and off the court. Two stars return to the Scary Movie franchise, and Kristen Wiig lands a new role. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
I'm in the house. Do you know where I am?
You're behind the couch. I can see your feet.
Scary Movie brings back 2 of its original stars. Anna Faris and Regina Hall are set to reunite for a new installment in the horror spoof franchise. Returning writer and star Marlon Wayans announced the news on Instagram. The 6th film in the series is due to land in theaters next summer. Kristen Wiig lends her voice to a heroic new film. The actress will voice mechanical warrior Roboto in the latest big screen adaptation of Masters of the Universe, according to The Hollywood Reporter. Based on the popular 1980s toy line, the movie is due in theaters in June. Classic scares return to the big screen. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre is back in theaters nationwide tonight only. The event kicks off Fathom Entertainment's Fright Fest 2025 and coincides with the day in which the events of the beloved horror film take place. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
The Seattle Storm unveiled a statue of Sue Bird outside Climate Pledge Arena over the weekend. The longtime Storm point guard already had her jersey retired and a street in the city named after her. And yesterday, she became the first player in WNBA history to have a statue outside a team's home arena. Bird's statue depicts her scoring a layup, and that's a nod to how she scored both her first and final baskets in the WNBA. Bird is a 13-time All-Star and 4-time WNBA champion. Brooke Johnson became the first woman to skateboard across America while raising money for a cause that's very personal to her. Brooke's 118-day journey from Venice Beach, California to Virginia Beach was to honor her stepdad. He suffered a spinal cord injury, and she promised him that she would raise money for his recovery by skating across America. He passed away before she was able to do so. But her journey finished Friday, and she raised nearly $50,000 for spinal cord research. How about that? At 5 o'clock, part of a major road in Raleigh is closed this morning. How long it may take for crews to get it fixed. Plus, shooting flames. A brush fire burned in Hillsborough. How a witness described the start of that fire. Healthier sleep habits. Students could have higher scores and less anxiety if they get more rest. WRAL's Keely Arthur tells you 5 ways to help your student get back to their sleep track before the start of school.